So you're thinking about becoming a pilot and you're wondering what you will have to study to get your private pilot license. Well, in this short video, I will go through the subjects that you are likely to encounter during your PPL training and give you some tips to pass your theory examination. As you can imagine, the course material varies from flight school to flight school, and that is why it's very important to choose a good flight school. Having said that, the European Union Aviation Safety Agency has come up with a document that defines the learning objectives that approved training organizations have to follow when developing a course. Which means that even though every approved training organization has or might have its own training material, there is a clear set of topics that should be taught and examined in order to meet the theoretical knowledge requirements. And therefore, you are very likely to encounter the following subjects regardless of the training organization you choose. Air law. Every day there are tens of thousands of aircrafts flying all around the world, and therefore to make sure we can all enjoy flying safely, it is crucial to have some laws. This class will cover all the laws and agreements that you need to know, and even though it is primarily based on the information from the International Civil Aviation Organization and from the European Union regulations, your training material is very likely also going to include aviation laws and regulations covering issues in your own country. Then pretty much every course out there will have something like general knowledge about the aircraft, where you will learn everything about the airframe, the systems in the aircraft, the electrical systems, the aircraft power plant, and the emergency equipment. Next, you can expect a class about flight planning, where you will learn about mass and balance, the effects of a different position of the center of gravity on the performance, and the importance of load distribution, as well as how to plan a flight, choose a route, and fill out a flight plan. Something else that you are very likely to encounter is a class about human performance and limitations, where you will familiarize yourself with how the body works and how altitude and flying affects the body. Then you can expect a class about meteorology, where you will learn about the atmosphere, the wind, the clouds, the rain, and the many other weather events. In this class, you typically learn also about the dangers from a pilot's point of view. And last but not least, you will learn where to find and how to read the weather reports that you need to fly safely. Which brings us to the next subject that pretty much every training includes: general navigation. General navigation is all about learning to read maps and use the tools that will allow us to get to our destination without getting lost. In conjunction with general navigation, you also find radio navigation, where you go a step further and you see how to orient yourself during using several methods and devices, from a simple compass to the more advanced board navigation system. After that, you can expect to go through all the operational procedures used during taxi, takeoff, landing, as well as the procedures for approaches, go-around, stalls, and emergency landings. Something else that every course out there has is also a class about the principles of flight. This class typically goes over the aerodynamics and the four forces of flight. And then last but not least, a PPL training course could not be considered complete without a class about communications, where you will learn how to communicate with the tower, the ground controllers, and your fellow pilots. All these subjects might be intimidating at first, but I assure you that given the proper time, you can absolutely learn everything in this list and get your PPL. So if you are seriously considering becoming a pilot, my two tips for you are: find a good flight school and then use spaced repetition as much as possible. It will prepare you for the final exam as nothing else will. In fact, I believe so much in spaced repetition that I've linked in the comments a couple of great resources that you will find very, very, very helpful. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know and ask in the comment section. And for more tips, make sure to subscribe.